Welcome to Media Day Live on GoPACSports.com. We're thrilled to be joined by the head coach of the Nittany Lions, James Franklin. Coach, how are you doing today?
Welcome back, Tony Mancuso.
Great to see you.
Did you have a good summer?
Had a great summer. How about you?
Awesome.
We'll have wall-to-wall interviews over the next 90 minutes with coaches and players. But, Coach, let's start with today. Has to be an exciting day. The guys were in the team meeting room last night getting things started.
Yeah, it was really good. We had a lot of fun. Guys were dancing. You know, we started out with some guys wear like a camp outfit where they wear the same shirt for all of camp. It's kind of a tradition. So we said this year we're going to make it a competition. Gaia had his overalls on with no shirt, which was interesting. Klein had some weird Parks and Recreation, all tan, no sleeves, really tight khakis on. It was somewhat awkward, but fun. It's great to be back. Looking forward to get back into football.
When you look at the roster, you've talked a lot about the depth, but just in simple terms for the fans to understand, how much does that help you when you walk out on the practice field, having a two deep all across the board?
It helps in so many ways that I don't think everybody even realizes. It's not just the depth in practice, but it's getting to the games fresh, because how do you get enough reps to get them confident in what they're going to see on game day without wearing them out? You know, so now the numbers that we have, it allows the first team guys to get reps, but it allows the first team now guys to step back and watch the second team guys go and still learn from what they're doing. You know, we'll be able to get so much more practice on tape to videotape. We had to cut everything back. You know, so the fact that we have a legitimate two deep at most positions, some positions three deep, you know, I think is going to allow us to do a lot of different things and from a preparation standpoint. And it's going to allow us to get guys ready at a number of positions that maybe we were challenged to last year.
4 offensive line starters returning. What can you say about that group and how they approach the offseason and the gains they've made?
They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're more confident, and they got a chip on their shoulder. You know, they did not play up to their standards. They did not play up to our standards of who and what they want to be. You know, so I think they've gone into the offseason with a real chip on their shoulder. They're a little angry, and they want to come out and they want to play well together. They want to play well for each other. They want to play well for our football program, and they want to play well for our for our university and our fan base.
You've talked about the pieces around Christian Hackenberg. Let's talk about the young wide receivers. Year 2 for a lot of those guys. You were just talking in the media room about, you know, Deshaun Hamilton didn't even have a spring ball last year, but when you see those guys and the gains they've made as well, that group has to excite you with how young they are.
Yeah, you think Geno was the only guy with any experience last year, so 3 of the 4 were freshmen. You know, now all those guys are sophomores and juniors, and then we redshirted Tompkins, who probably could have played for us last year as well. You're bringing that guy in as one of the faster guys on our team. You know, the confidence that they're going to be able to play with, the speed, how decisive they're going to be in reading coverages and how to adjust their routes. You know, that's going to translate, and that's going to you know, help Hack. I think it's also going to create opportunities for bigger plays. Typically, if you look at most places, you know, the adjustment from year 1 to year 2 for wide receivers is significant. And it goes back to even what you said. I mean, Deshaun Hamilton wasn't even able to go spring ball last year. So now he has success last year. He has a whole off season and spring ball to refine, all summer to work on it. And now he's coming in, and I think he, you know, even last year, I think he led the Big Ten in receptions, right?
Yep.
So, you know, he's going to have some confidence from that experience and build on it.
In the backfield, Akeel Lynch, the veteran of the group, but a ton of talent there. What can you say about that group?
You know, it's interesting. I think it'll be one of the better storylines of camp. I think Akeel's done a really, really good job. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's confident. You know, it was our leading rusher last year in a limited role. You know, and talking to Coach Galt and as well as the players, he's had a great summer. You know, he's had a great summer. So, you know, I need him to step up. We need him to step up and be the guy that we can depend on game in and game out to make plays and do his job consistently. And then the interesting thing is going to be able to see all those young guys, the 3 guys that redshirted last year, as well as the 2 guys that are coming in as true freshmen. We all know in the Big Ten and major college football, you better have 3 backs that you feel like you can win with. So, you know, that'll be an interesting storyline in the development of who's going to be number 2 and who's going to be number 3.
Where has Christian grown the most since the end of the last season, do you think?
I think just the maturity and the focus of saying, I'm going to control the things that I can control. So that's getting with the O-line all offseason, watching film, and making sure they're on the same page, how they identify fronts or where the Mike linebacker is and where the pressures are coming from. whether that's getting with the receivers and throwing and watching film about, reading coverage and how he sees things to get them on the same page. It's having great conversations with Ricky Ronnie and John Donovan and myself. We had a great conversation this morning. It's those things. It's learning from all the positive things that happened last year, and it's growing from some of the challenges that we fought through.
You've got a ton of talent on the defensive line, but in the middle, those two guys especially, how do they complement one another? Austin Johnson, Anthony Zetta. What makes the two of them better as a group as opposed to individual parts?
One's a little crazy. One's somewhat normal. One's 327 pounds. One's 282 pounds. Their games complement each other. Their personalities complement each other. They both care deeply about their teammates and about Penn State. And then I think, obviously, the fact that we got guys behind them, Barney, who we're excited about what he's going to be able to do this year, Parker Cothran, what he's been able, to do, this offseason, and then, obviously, Antoine White, who redshirted last year, see what he's going to be able to bring to the table, as well as Windsor coming in as a freshman. He's impressed people. So it'll be fun, but I think those two guys got a lot of people's attention. It's also, those things go hand in hand. Iron sharpens iron. So the talent that we have at D tackle is going to challenge and prepare our offensive line. So I think, that's where it really becomes fun, where not only do you have depth and talent from a competitive perspective at the same position, but also across the ball battling with each other.
When you look at the linebacker core, obviously not easy replacing what Mike Hall brought to the table, but Naeem Wortman, what has his approach been like in terms of leadership, in terms of X's and O's? And he seems like just a guy that really wants to learn, be a student of the game.
Well, not only that, I think Cabinda's really embraced it. I think Naeem's really embraced, that role. I think Brandon Bell's really embraced it. Getting Klein back. Having Reeder, coming back from a red shirt, as well as Koa Farmer. There are a bunch of guys that have gotten some experiences and learned from watching Mike Hall and how he prepared and how he competed and how hard he played. I think we're going to lose some things. I actually think Naeem's going to allow us to gain some things. I mean, Mike was around 230 pounds. Naeem is a cheeseburger away from 250. So being able to be stout in there, in between the tackles and be physical, I think he brings something there. But he also runs well enough to play sideline to sideline, and I think just the experience of those four guys working together a lot. I'm excited about their potential, and I'm excited about Brent Pryor, our co-defensive coordinator, who I don't think gets enough credit for the job he does, as well as the rest of the defensive staff. I know he's going to have them ready to go.
The secondary, Jordan Lucas shifts to safety, but what do you like about that group in terms of the unit itself, in terms of the speed, the size, those types of things?
I think if you had a wish list of body types, in terms of experience, in terms of athleticism, in terms of strength, in terms of experience, they got a lot of those check marks. I thought, Grant played at a high level last year for a freshman. I thought Christian Campbell played at a high level for a freshman. I thought Marcus Allen played as a high level for a freshman. So what you do now is you got a bunch of guys who got experience as freshmen. They're going to take that next step. And then you got the older guys leading them. You got Trevor and Jordan, being able to use their experience over the last number of years, to hopefully bring some playmaking. That's the next step for us. I thought defensively we played great. For us to be elite and to be special is now to be able to create a bunch of turnovers that are can have a dramatic impact in games.
So you have 29 practices between now and the opener against Temple. How do you go about making sure that you maximize each day?
By not talking about the 29, by focusing on the one that we have today, and staying present, understanding that we do have 29, and understanding what's at the end of the rainbow, with Temple and the start of our season. But right now, just focusing on Penn State, just focusing on the areas that we need to improve and get better, and not only take it one day at a time and one practice at a time, but the average college football play lasts 6 seconds. All we need you to do is give us everything you got, 100% effort, 100% focus for 6 seconds at a time. And pretty much any of us can give you everything you got for 6 seconds. And that's what we want our guys to do, and take that mentality. And after that 6 seconds, do it again another 6 seconds. And if you can't, tap out because now we got the depth that the next guy can come in and do it at a very high level behind you.
Finally, just wanted to get your take on the fans. Obviously, a lot of excitement, season ticket sales getting to a great spot. What can you say to the fans in terms of how excited they are and how excited you guys are on the flip side about the fans?
You know, they've been awesome. The type of support we got last year, separates us. It differentiates us. There's no doubt about it. Going out in the community and handing the posters out and kind of seeing the excitement. Being out to eat just in town or throughout the state and seeing how people are so passionate about what's going on here. The way we're able to fill the stadium up. It's special. The tailgating. I want us to be number one in everything. I want us to be number one in graduation rates. I want us to be number one in the Big Ten. I want us to be number one in attendance. I want us to be number one in tailgating. The whole package. The sky's the limit for a place at Penn State. And I think, after everything we've been through, this is a time to celebrate and come together and show everybody why we've always been special, why we continue to be special, and why we're going to be significant in the future.
Coach, we greatly appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to us. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back on GoPSCSports.com. We'll have special teams coordinator and running backs coach Charles Huff joining us.